No, we don't.
Sounds like it.
And like I said, when you're retired, there's no you have time to retire. So everybody needs something. Hey, when you need to, you can't
Okay.
One of them that's.
You need to write it down.
It's basically outlined the identified. And then, the cost breakdown, the line cost, I think it's 58,000.
It's one that always leave.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Today is June 2nd, 2025. This is the City of Camilla work session. At this time, council, is there a motion council is going to need to make an adjustment or an amendment. I'm going to ask for a motion to amend tonight's agenda to add 3 action items. They're the same motion, but but 3 separate times. And let me just tell you before I even ask for the motion, just let you know what this is. So this morning, the city council met and got a briefing from the city attorney that authorized or made it clear that the 3 city officials involved in this criminal complaint are eligible under the city's indemnify, ordinance. That was basically the phase one of it, that you know that these three individuals, meet the parameters to receive, that assistance from the city. Tonight, and again, we couldn't amend the call meeting agenda this morning because, and just information for everybody, once you say this is what we're having a call meeting for, they're different from regular meetings and the work session. So once you say, you call a meeting, you say what the proposed agenda is, that's it. That's the only thing you can talk about. So we at least had a conversation this morning, but we couldn't add the 3 items today because we didn't know, or wanted to make sure that we got more information from the city attorney before we did that. So the motion to amend the agenda tonight will be to add those three items. So again, same items, but 3 separate votes. So, and again, everybody, you can, depending on the motion, if there's another motion, that's fine. So you don't necessarily have to stick with that. But, so what I'm going to ask at this time, is there a motion to amend tonight's agenda to add an action item based on the authority set forth in section 292 of the Code of Ordinances, that the city of Camilla furnish and fund a legal defense for certain city officials in connection with recent indictments against them, which is directly related to and emanates from an underlying civil proceeding. Is there a motion?
So move. Second.
We have a motion that's been properly seconded. Any discussion? Okay. And this will be a roll call vote.
I have some discussion.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when we spoke this morning, you stated that the city attorneys would not be represented.
Correct.
Okay, I believe that, the ordinance says we must approve your choice. If it's not the city attorney, no? Okay, all right. Just, that's why I asked.
Okay.
Okay. So what is that process? How do you decide?
The city attorney will make the recommendations.
Okay, all right.
But the individuals have an opportunity to choose their own attorney also.
All right, so, this morning, I thought that it was an automatic thing, that we didn't have to take action on it, so we are,
Yeah, that's what I explained at the top.
uh,
The automatic piece was identifying that the 3 city officials were eligible
okay,
for the ordinance.
correct,
But we did not have on there
to take action.
to do the actual funding piece, if you will. And we couldn't have done that without at least having to put this out to the community first and for you to digest it. So we didn't have that.
So we don't know who these attorneys are gonna be, is what you're saying.
Correct.
When are we gonna know that?
Once the recommendation is made by the city attorney and, yeah, pretty much, yes, sir.
Why does the city attorney have to make that decision?
Per ordinance. Now, well, let me back up. The ordinance gives the city attorney that authority, if you will, to make those recommendations. However, the ordinance also states that the individual will have an opportunity to pick their own attorney.
I thought that had to be, those individuals had to be approved by the council.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
So we have no say-so in who and how much they charge.
Correct, and I think that was one of the, but I would argue that our city attorney will ensure that whatever those rates are comparable to what is standard. Madam Attorney, you got any comments related to that? You heard the question from Councilman Hall.
And if I'm understanding Councilman Armour correctly, he just wants to know whether there is going to be some type of cap or what the rates will be like?
Correct. Okay. Is that accurate?
I didn't understand what she said.
So I was just getting clarification from the mayor, Councilman Palmer, but once we provide advice on or recommendation on the legal office to represent the defendants, really that office becomes, again, they become clients of that legal office. And so as far as the rates are concerned, I don't think we'll necessarily review or comment on them per se. And we also want to understand and kind of provide some clarity around the fact that, we provide public government services, for different types of legal work, you might see different types of rates. So will it be comparable to rates that align with this type of case or these types of matters? I'm sure it will be, but when we have a say-so on that, I can't confirm that for you.
Is this gonna be 3 attorneys inside of your firm or
No,
one
sir.
attorney or what?
Those attorneys that will be representing the individuals will not be a part of our firm.
So it could be 3 or just 1?
Well, the ordinance says that, I think if there are 2 or more defendants, and in this case there are 3 defendants, they can choose to have, we can provide more than one recommendation for legal defense, depending on if there is a conflict that exists. So if it's found that maybe there's some type of conflict between the 3 defendants, then they are able to get their own separate legal representation. But as of right now, I would assume that at least one legal office will be defending the defendants.
I would recommend that each one of these be tracked separately, individually, so we'll know where we're going with this when we get through with it.
Understood, okay.
There's also a reimbursement clause in the indemnity ordinance. So again, I would like to also add, as Mr. Palmer has stated, that we individually track each separate defendant's legal expenses.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think that's going to be probably something that's gonna be tracked very closely by the city's finance office and business office. And I'm sure if, at any point in time you wanted to, review that bill or whatnot, you have the opportunity to do so. But the business office should provide that kind of invoicing and tracking.
And that's going to be 3 separate motions, it's for each
Sure,
individual
that's
person.
right. That's right.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Any other discussion? Okay, this will be and again, council, you are voting to amend the agenda to add this item as an action item for tonight. And again, it's very well vote. Councilmember Green,
Yes.
Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Berwin,
Yes.
Councilman Moore,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
No.
Councilman Maples,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer.
No,
Motion carries. Thank you, council. All right, at this time, council, are there any speaker appearances?
Good evening, council, mayor, in absence of city manager, and administrators, city manager, assistant.
Yeah.
Uh,
And excuse me, hold that, don't lose your train of thought, and my apologies, council. Cheryl was traveling from Donaldsonville, she was trying to make it back here on time, but didn't make it. So just want to let you know where she was.
Let me back up. I'm Ventura Paula, 70 Dogwood Street, Georgia. Council, just want to come before you on tonight to say that in the midst of chaos, adversity, and so much more, you remain diligent to your duties. And for that, we are very appreciative. It shows your growth. It shows your ability to lead. And so much more that I think as a citizen of Camilla, we can take pride in our government. But I'm reminded, Mayor, be steadfast, unremovable, always abounding in the works of the Lord. For your work is not and will not be in vain. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, any other speaker appearances? Any other speaker appearances? All right, hearing none, council, we'll go ahead and get to that first action item. And again, council, these will be 3 separate votes. But the motion will be the same, okay? So for action item number 1, is there a motion, council, based on the authority set forth in section 292-9-2 of the code of ordinances? You move that the city of Camilla furnish and fund a legal defense for Cheryl Ford in connection with the recent indictment against her, which is directly related and emanates from the underlying civil proceeding. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
No motion is properly second. Any discussion? All right, let's do a roll call vote. Councilmember,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Burley,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
No.
Councilman Maples,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer,
No.
Mayor votes yes. Motion passes. All right, council, action number 2, based on the authority set forth in section 2-9-2 of the code of ordinances, you move that the city of Camilla furnish the fund and legal defense for Runette Williford in connection with the recent indictment against her, which is directly related to and emanates from an underlying civil proceeding. Is there a motion?
So move. Second.
A motion properly second, any discussion? All right, let's do a roll call vote. Councilmember Ring,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Burley,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
No.
Councilman Maples,
Yes.
Councilman Palmer.
No.
Mayor votes yes, motion carries. Third, council, based on the authorities that based on the authority set forth in section 2-9-2 of the Code of Ordinances. You move that the city of Camilla furnish and fund a legal defense for Mayor Kelvin Owens in connection with the recent indictment against him, which is directly related to and emanates from an underlying civil proceeding. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion is properly second. Any discussion?
Where are these, well, first, what are the estimated funds, legal funds that, legal fees that would be incurred in this? And number two, where are these funds supposed to come from?
Yeah, so, just like any other obligation of the city, that will be, determined, by, the finance director. Just like any other bill that comes in, it will be paid. But I suspect that the line item, associated, with, that would be that of the legal fees that are generally for the city. And don't lose your train of thought, Councilman Palmer. Mayor, Madam Attorney, does that sound about right?
Yes, I would recommend, and again, like you said, the finance director can provide maybe a greater scope on this, but that it come from any place in the budget where you typically pay legal fees, but that's again more so the purview of it.
And again, that would be hence part of the reason for this vote, just like any other line item, if it's over, if you will.
Well, it's gonna be, we've already got a fund for the regular attorney, so we're fixing to significantly increase that. So that's what I'm trying to find out, where we're going with that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be, again, like any other line item. If it's needed and if it's an obligation of the city, this vote authorizes the city to expend those funds, wherever they come from. And again, everybody, this is treated as an obligation of the city because of the ordinance that was passed related to the defense and indemnification. So this is why all this stuff kind of fits together, if you will. So it's, so other than, it's like any other obligation that the city has.
But if it's not in the budget, you've got to, take the money from somewhere else, or either raise the funds from, income revenue that comes to the city.
Yeah, I suspect that the finance director, will, ensure, just like any other line item here in the city, that if we need something extra in a line item, she'll make that determination of where would be the best place to pull that from. And then obviously it'd be reconciled, at the end of the fiscal year or during the audit.
I'm pulled up the budget for this year and I can't seem to find it. Does anyone happen to know what we have budgeted for legal expenses? I don't seem to be able to locate it right now in our current budget.
I think it's 175.
Sorry. Okay. All right, thank you.
I think at least 100, not sure the full number, but.
Okay. I was scrolling through really quickly, but I just wanted to ask.
Any other discussion? All right, council, again, as a reminder, the motion on the floor is based on the authority set forth in section 2-9-2 of the Code of Ordinances. The motion is to move that the city of Camilla furnish and fund legal defense of Mayor Kevin Owens in connection with a recent indictment against him, which is directly related to and emanates from an underlying civil pursuit. We have a motion that's been properly seconded. Any other discussion? All right, let's do a roll call vote. Councilmember Green,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Burley,
Yes.
Councilman Morgan,
Yes.
Councilman Collins,
No.
Councilman Maples,
Yes.
Councilman Hall.
No.
Mayor votes yes, the motion carries. All right, thank you, council.
That amount is 125.
Wonderful.
Yes,
I knew it was near.
Well, that's what's budgeted, we don't know.
Well, I mean, I wanted to clarify, that's what's in the budget.
All right, council. We'll move on to our discussion items. Juneteenth proclamation. Obviously, as you know, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be celebrating Juneteenth here in the city. And what I recommend is, because the important proclamation and moment for our city, that we read this proclamation in the record and authorize the mayor to sign. And again, proclamations, ladies and gentlemen, can be done without council approval here in the city. But for proclamations like this, I'd like to involve the council as much as I can related to that. So I'm gonna read through this quickly and express the significance of this proclamation. There's no objection. There's no objection. Proclamation of the City of Camilla, Georgia. Whereas since 1865, June 19th has become known as Juneteenth Day, and is the oldest known celebration commemorating the abolition of slavery in the United States. And whereas although the Emancipation Proclamation was signed by President Abraham Lincoln on January 1, 1863, more than 250,000 enslaved Africans and their descendants remained in bondage in the state of Texas until the arrival of Union troops at Galveston on the 19th day of 1865. And whereas Juneteenth celebrations continue to grow within communities and organizations throughout the country, helping to promote knowledge and appreciation of African American history, resilience, family, community, and culture. And whereas Juneteenth is a day of profound reflection and remembrance of the terrible toll of slavery on our country and the legacy of systemic racism, inequality, and humanity. And whereas the City of Camilla pledges to continue efforts to lift up the importance and history of Juneteenth and advance equity and inclusion for all members of our community. And whereas on Juneteenth, we remember and acknowledge the centuries of struggle, courage, and hope that have brought us to this time of progress and possibility. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Mayor Kevin Owens, on behalf of the City Council, the Camilla City Council, do hereby proclaim June 19, 2025 as Juneteenth Day in the City of Camilla, and encourage all residents to recognize and celebrate this annual commemoration, which honors the legacy, history, and culture of Black Americans throughout our city. Our citizens are called upon to learn more about the history of Juneteenth and to attend the City of Camilla's Juneteenth Celebration Festival on Saturday, June 21, in historic downtown Camilla. The second day of June 2025, Governor Owens, Mayor. So council, I'm assuming that there is unanimous consent that this proclamation be entered into the record. Are there any objections?
I'd like to add a big thank you to Ms. Tisman Turley for all of her hard work in making the celebration of Camille on Saturday, the 21st possible. I know that she has a lot of, I don't think she's here tonight, but she has a lot of wonderful things planned for that day. And and has worked really hard, and I'd like to just say thank you for her, for all her hard work.
And Shannon actually heard.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you very much.
All right. All right, council, so, item 2, discussion is related to the scheduling conflict, for June 14, 2025, council meeting.
July.
Yes, ma'am. July 14, 2025, council meeting. Luca, you have that in front of you. All right. Council, just wait 2 seconds.
We have noticed that there's a MEAG election on July 15th at 8 a.m.
That-
at the
Back in the calendar. All right. July 14th, the council will be in Amelia Islands. So that's the issue. So council, moving the council meeting to the 21st seems the next available, date, if you want to do it on a Monday. That seems more practical. Any thoughts related to that?
I would say move it to the following Monday, that makes the best plan.
Okay, cool. So that would be the 21st.
So we need a motion for that, Mr. Rhodes?
Yeah, and what I'll do is, we're gonna have to vote on it, so we can have to amend the agenda real quickly,
Okay.
to do that. So council, is there a motion, to amend the agenda, tonight to add, to vote on, changing the date for the July 14th council meeting and moving it to July 21st? Is there a motion to amend the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
That motion is properly seconded, any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, council, is there a motion to move the July 14, 2025 council meeting to July 21, 2025? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
That motion is properly seconded, any discussion?
I would just add, just for full transparency, I will be out of town on that day.
Okay.
So I think the suggestion is 28th at this point. That's it. Final discussion. I won't be in town.
Okay. I think listening to the crowd here, that they'll have a quorum to move. And I think you have at least one more eligible call if you wanted to do that. But would you like to make a substitute motion for that?
Would you be able to call in?
Yes.
Okay. And is that okay with you?
And again, you'll have a quorum here, so depending on what will be on the agenda, you may want to say, as everybody remember, you only get 2 of those per year, where you can be out of the jurisdiction and then call in. Okay. Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? Again, council, the motion on the floor is to move July 4th, 2025, council meeting, to July 14th, 2025, council meeting to July 25. Everybody say that. I move the July 14th, 2025, council meeting to July 21, 2025. That's the motion on the floor. Is
And I
there,
just wanted to add, just a discussion, in all fairness to Mr. Morgan, His additional suggestion was the 28th. Was there another day that particular week of the 21st that you would be available, or is it the whole week out? Does anyone have a problem with the 28th?
I'd rather stay within the week, time frame. It just gonna crowd everything up. I think if you go further out than that.
Okay, well, just ask. Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion, motion carries. Thank you. All right. Item 3, scores update, Councilman Paul.
I just want an update on the activity of the realtors. You have any inquiries? If so, how many? Has anyone looked? What is the status of, the selling of the property? When does her contract end, and where we going after that?
Sure. So as council, as you're aware, Scores was transferred to the URA, and the Scores information and those particular questions will be at the next URA meeting, which I anticipate that will be within the next couple of weeks. So that information will be there at that particular time.
May I ask a question as well?
Sure.
In the event that the restaurant is sold or leased,
Sure.
will we be able to put that money back into the city's general fund from where expenses came out of? What happens to the money when it's sold or leased?
Yeah, so just like the depot, the funds that are generated from that property will go back into the city coffers, either through the mechanism of the URA or through a designated fund here in the city. Again, the URA manages the depot, and the funds that are made for the depot come, directly back to the city. And ladies and gentlemen, I would be remiss if I didn't say that, it was just 2.5 years ago, roughly, when the city of Camilla took over management of the depot, where we were not receiving any income from the renting of that facility. And when the city took that over, some of the, frankly, some of the same arguments related to the Scores were made as it relates to how profitable it could be and that type of thing. But 2.5 years later, Depot, and hence the turn that I'm making. Here we are 2.5 years later, and Depot is one of our more active books of business, if you will. That this stuff that is not born overnight or in 6 months or a year. Sometimes it takes time to bring this stuff back. So I just thought that was an important point. All right.
You don't have an approximate date on that URA meeting, do you?
No, I suspect, hopefully here within the next couple of weeks. Yes, ma'am. All right, number 4, voting delegate, MEAG Power annual election. So council, right now, I'm listed as the alternate, and the previous city manager was listed as the primary. I recommend that we replace that. Well, let me ask, who's on planning to head to Amelia on next month? So, all right, so I think out of that group, we need a nomination or volunteer to become the alternate. And will place me as a primary. And if for whatever reason I'm not there, we at least have the primary, but we need one of those, at this point. So, anybody want to volunteer? Okay. All right, council, is there a motion, to approve, Councilman Maples, as a alternate voting delegate, for the, conference?
So, Mr. Owens, you will move to the delegate spot, and he is actually the alternate.
There you go. All right, yes, ma'am. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second. A motion's been properly second, any discussion? All right, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you, Judge. All right, item 5, Northern Social proposed preliminary storm drainage, study. Luke.
So for the preliminary storm drainage study by York Associates, in the area of McCree, Fuller, Perry Morgan, and OK, and New Street. That's at $58,500, for a study that's going to happen over 6 months. The scope of that study is to locate existing structures, do a topography survey, and include upstream and downstream studies as well. To map existing storm drainage in those areas, do a hydrology study, and then provide a summary of those studies and recommendations along with estimated construction costs. The costs associated with that, you can see it on attachment B, which is the hourly rates for all the engineers and surveyors, project managers that will be involved. And also in attachment B, the second page is the map of those areas.
So in my reading, it is, an initial fee of the 58,500 and then subsequent schedule B. I have the 2023 audit, and on page 46, we have committed stormwater funds of $1,044,668, which I believe that we have more than enough to, according to the records from 2023, to cover those costs and more.
Not necessarily. Now, we do have some work, but whether or not, if your suggestion is the funding for these phases should come from that particular form, or from that line item, I think that's logical. But I think it'd be easier, or probably be wise, if you will, just double check with, finance director and Cheryl to ensure, because again, that's the audit for 23, that was actually sitting in that account right now.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
We won't have 24, I believe, until maybe August.
Yeah,
So this is gonna happen before then.
yeah, but the account is still there though.
Okay.
The account is still there. I know we've done some extensive work over in Colton, I think we did some cul-de-sac work.
That was used there. And Cheryl and I met last Tuesday and went through line by line and she is looking into it to see.
Okay.
She was. And we brought the page number out and, so anyway.
Yeah, but that would be extremely logical to take it from that account, if the money's there.
One thing, originally when that was set up, that money was designated for stormwater retention only. It's supposed to be collected monthly from the footprint of your property to fund this fund. So the money should be just only for stormwater retention.
Yeah, and I think that, Councilman Hall.
And it's been replenished monthly, every month, more money goes in.
Sure, but I think the issue potentially, and that's why talking to Cheryl and the finance director is important, Because to your point, Councilman Palmer, and I think that fund was set up in the mid-90s, if I'm not
That's
mistaken.
correct.
Um,
No, it was later than that.
yeah, I don't think no later than, somewhere between the mid-90s and 2001, somewhere in that neighborhood. That is it a revenue market or a revenue account, if you will, or something else? And I think over the years, it's been a mixture, a hybrid of a few things. So, once talked to Cheryl and the finance director, if it's been a hybrid of a few things, then maybe to your point, Councilman Palmer, there needs to be a resolution or something similar to bring it back to its original intent.
Well, I think we need to look at what it was hired as business set up. And then funds have been appropriated in other areas, those areas need to refund back the money.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue. I think that the way it was set up, that's in question. I think I know what you're saying is the intent, and I get that. The intent of it was for, but how it's been used and how it's written, I think is another issue. But again, having that talk with the city manager and the finance director will clear that up in a heartbeat.
Just, excuse me, the line item, committed stormwater funds, is what it says.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
that's that label.
That's right. All right. Luke, anything else want to add?
So
What-
do
what-
we have to approve this, or is it already, I mean, just,
Yeah, so what you could do, Councilmember Green's point,
because we certainly want this to happen, ASAP.
you can push it to next Monday.
Okay,
Are you voting
we
on
need to put a
it?
motion for it to be on as an action item for Monday's meeting.
That's correct. Or you can do it tonight, it's completely up to you.
Well, then I'd like to make a motion to have this as an action item on our meeting next Monday night to vote this.
We need to amend the agenda for that.
Oh, no, she's,
I'm doing it for next week.
yeah, she's doing it next week. So really, when you have to vote, we just need 3 hands. That's it. Perfect. Okay.
One other thing, I want, the best way to approach this is these three, requests or these three proposals need to be prioritized. Unless, if they come up with a study on, we want to deal with the worst one first. And go ahead and do that. Are you talking about they're gonna do them all at the same time, or they gonna do 1, 2, 3, or what are they gonna do?
For the study, it will be all three at the same time.
Okay, what about doing the job?
That'll be in the proposed for, the construction estimate, they can split it up into 3 days.
Well, that should be prioritized by doing the first one first, and then the second one and the third.
I mean, I can talk to your
Just in their
organization
study, if they could say, there's,
for their construction.
and sure they will,
Wait, I would hope.
but better to ask first.
Yeah,
I think that's correct.
and then the beauty is that the council, Councilman Palmer's point, the council can dictate, what's priority, what's not.
And if I'm correct on the map, it's the little circled areas.
That's correct.
Okay.
And, anything on the other?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I have some others as well.
I'd like to just offer discussion and potentially take action at the work session as well regarding our 2024 year-end settlement. So I know we voted to put it down, if I'm not mistaken. What I'm seeking now is to essentially just provide some spending categories. So far, I'm looking at eligible items being energy assistance or utility assistance, community development or redevelopment, support for our aging populations, and also public infrastructure. So just wanted to offer this up for discussion consideration, and potentially just to add some teeth to that shortly as soon as well.
I have the exact same dollar amount, but a different direction, if I may speak next.
Sure.
Okay, we have two MEAG accounts, and, let me get my notes, I'm sorry. The MEAG trust is, specifically designated for paying the MEAG bills, and it, as per Cheryl and I's meeting last Tuesday on 4/30/25, there is $1.568 million in that account. Of which we are using about $200,000 a month, draw from there to pay the bill. At the session that Mr. Maples and I attended, the, training session, it is recommended that cities keep a year's worth of those payments in something like the trust in case of an emergency. Now, right now, if you, according to what is being spent, we're looking at, that account running out of money the 1st of January. So I would like for us to discuss about perhaps taking that money that you're talking about, and putting it back in the trust account so that we have a year's worth of payments. And further down the road, we have a report from ECG dated 2 years ago that gave us some options on generating additional money so that we don't have to pull from the trust account. So there was a rate adjustment scenario, but once we get the trust back up to a year's worth, which would be about $2.5 million, which would require either transferring the money that you're speaking about or pulling from the other MEAG account. Once that's done, then I'd like to see us perhaps get a professional opinion on how to continue, for lack of a better, for everybody to understand, not operating in the red in electric each year. That's my next. But we need to keep that money in the trust account, but we also need to not spend that. We need to hold on to that so we've got a year in case of an emergency or something in which we are able to pay.
So there's a couple of issues with that particular characterization. And the first, let me ask you, if you have the statement, the MEAG trust statement in front of you, I know you mentioned that.
No, Cheryl showed it, she went and got it, we looked at it.
How much is in the flexible?
Okay, the Flex has, let me get that for you. 430 trust balances. All right, the Flex has $5,383,492.
Okay.
The trust has $1,568,293, but we pay them about $2 million a month, for power.
We don't. We don't, and if you don't, I'll explain that to you.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
I
So,
love that.
yes, ma'am. So total in the MEAG trust is $7 million.
Right.
Everybody. There's two accounts, as the council member mentioned. You have the flexible account where you can spend that $5 million you just mentioned. You can spend that $5.5 million any way you want to. But there's a power generation account that is restricted only to power generation. That $1.5 million, you can only spend it on power generation. That's it. That you can't do what you want to do with it. The bill that the council member is mentioning, we are not paying our bill with the $200,000, where we're supplementing. I can tell you that right now, our monthly bill, the city's light bill, if you will, is about $1 million a month. What we've been doing is using $200,000 to offset that. so that 800,000 is only getting pulled out of the account. That's not to say we don't have 200,000 to pay it. It's just, or the additional, that we don't have the full million to pay it. It's just, we're using the 200,000 per month, and it's not every month. The finance director broke it up for each month, which she believes we would need it the most.